Welcome back to Minehead, Stage 2, Reds Bar. It is the last 64, the start of round 4, and we have 4 matches for you this evening. Not only do we get to see a former champion in Danny Noppert, who kicks things off against the German #1 Gabriel Clemens. We have got a former world champion in Michael Smith taking on Joe Cullen. The all-Australian clash between Simon Whitlock and Damon Heta, the pair that won the World Cup for their country for the first time a couple of years ago. And then Gerwyn Price, a man who is yet to win the UK Open despite regularly being in the final session of action. He will take on the German #2, Martin Schindler. It is a round chocked full of German talent. There's Germans everywhere you look in the draw. Over the 8 boards of action, we have got boards 3 to 8 streaming online for you on PDC TV. And of course the main stage action on ITV in the UK and various other partner broadcasters across the globe. I'm Dan Dawson, Paul Nicholson alongside me for this Friday evening session of darts, and it isn't a bad lineup, Nicholson. I know you quite fancy seeing Gary Anderson, Cameron Menzies on this board. They're on the outer boards.
Yeah, well, that's just wrong, isn't it? I'm going to be really honest about that. I wanted Menzies against Anderson on this board. That could be brilliant. However, we do have the All-Aussie clash, so I can't exactly be disappointed. But starting off with strength here, Clemens and the former champion Danny Noppert, who's defending a fairly big chunk of cash. 6-figure check to defend, and if he doesn't do so, his ranking is going to suffer. But Danny's the kind of player who doesn't really worry about things like that.
Also, it's not going to suffer that much, despite it being a 6-figure check. Even if he went out now, he'd only be provisionally dropping to about 12 in the world from #7. So it's not like it's really going to hurt him that much. He's already missed out on a Premier League spot. He is the highest ranked player not in the Premier League.
Add to that, that information tells you just how strong he is in all of the other departments, maybe with the exception of Alexandra Palace, where he's never played well. So when you look at some players and how much of their ranking money is accumulated at the Palace, if Danny Noppert had been effective in North London over the last couple of years, he could easily have been inside the top 5. Well, but he isn't.
We'll look at Gabriel Clemens. Gabriel Clemens is the German #1. He is ranked #22 in the world, and that is sat on a semi-final run of the World Championship, which will come off at the end of this year. There's 110 going to come off his score here. That leaves double top.
70.
That's a bit of an everywhere shot, isn't it?
104.
Top right, bottom left, back to the north. I'm not sure I like that at all. I do like this, though.
84.
He doesn't like the last dart.
Gabriel required 40.
Could use that.
20.
But he doesn't, and he didn't really get very close to it, truth be told.
And the last thing you want to do is give Danny Noppert double chances. Is that a little too close? Well, what do I know? He knows best, and the former champ takes the lead in a best-of-19 match. There will be a break after 10, albeit a very short one. But these top 32 players are very well versed in best-of-19. Just a little bit longer than the usual Players' Championship format, which we played this afternoon. And I said earlier, Dan, that every Friday afternoon gives us a huge story.
134.
I'm not really sure what the big story was. Was it Leonard Gates being the last of the qualifiers in the tournament? Was it Scott Mitchell being the only person from the Challenge Tour rankings to survive Friday afternoon?
91.
Maybe it was, because that huge finish he took out in the last leg against Matthew Dennant. My word.
Yeah, 1-5-6 finish to win it 6-5, having been 5-1 down for Scott Mitchell, so he's still going strong. Leonard Gates may well be certainly one of the stories from the afternoon session. Could turn into a bigger story if he keeps on going. Oh, is Danny Noppert using a longer point here, or is it just that he's got
60.
like a texture to his point, almost like a stone grip on his point, that makes me think that it's increased in length? It looks different.
Well, it is a different point because last year he was using a black point
140.
with grip texture in white rings at the top. This is a very different point. It seems to have that look of,
60.
dare I say it, the
Gabriel,
Simon
require
Whitlock point.
130.
Yeah, like a wood file that has been shaped. Clemens trying to find his way through to the treble 20, which he's done expertly there. Leaves the bullseye. Does not get it.
105. Danny, you require 150.
He could persevere on the 60s here for a shot at double 15. That's way over the top. If he has gone to that type of point with more texture in it, I can understand why, because it would minimize the amount of wobble he gets in the board with the very upright angle. Double 4. And he needed that, because had he missed that and Noppert goes out, he's already starting to set a precedent for the match.
Well, just to clarify, those points that Noppert has would probably have been illegal under rules that were scheduled to be brought into force at the start of this year. Now, quite late on, they announced at the start of last year,
60.
quite late on in the day, they decided that they were going to revise that rule. I think basically because it would have outlawed the vast majority of points that
91.
professional players use, and indeed amateur players are the same ones you can get from darts manufacturers all over the place. So it's a very much fudged rule now, where there were set guidelines.
140.
I may be wrong about these points. They might have passed the test, but they look like they've got quite a lot of texture, and the bit that enters the board, which is the key bit. And there's a maximum from Gabriel Clemens. But yeah, they fudged it now, where basically they're allowed to use whatever points they want as long as the tournament director says it's okay and they don't tear the board up. Now, the interesting thing is, if these start tearing the board up, what do they do?
Seems to me like he's not tearing the board up, because 3 legs in, we would know.
Yeah, you would think so. Gabriel Clemens is not going to take out 90, and he didn't go the 20s route that would have left the dart at the bullseye, because Noppert is a long way back. He's not too far away. He can do this.
I've seen a couple of whoppers today in this sort of region. 2 160 checkouts, but 161's just a little bit more complex. There's double 4 again for Clemens, and that seems to be working very well for the former semi-finalist at the World Championship. Still one of the 2 top-ranked German players in the world who haven't won a title yet, whereas someone who's not on tour has won 2, and someone who's lower ranked than them has won a Euro Tour last year. Sort of strange, and I was writing about this recently, saying that Clemens has just got to try and figure out what it is that is stopping him from getting that elusive title.
It's been a strange start to the year for Gabriel Clemens. He's averaged pretty much 90 in every game he's played. Minimum 90. He's won 1 game on the Pro Tour. So he's not playing dreadfully. He's not playing brilliantly. But he's certainly not winning.
140.
He doesn't seem to fiddle with the barrel element of his equipment, but the flight and stem combo, it's been very changeable over the last 2 years. Always seems to try and find a way to use the newest invention. He likes to try the new kit.
96.
Yeah, I think these are the K-Flex stem and flight system that he's got in. Well, Noppy may stay on the bullseye here.
And Noppy might change his points, but he doesn't change anything else.
Ooh, double top then.
24 hit. It's 50 scores. $70.
That's been his miss on tops in this game so far, just a little low. He's going to have to calibrate that correctly at some point.
134.
Double 10 was good for him to take the lead earlier. On dart 3, doesn't need it anymore. That's right in the corner. Not his best dart at double 5, but he'll take it.
Well, Danny Noppert levelling up 2 apiece.
Any other games that came through in the very exciting last 64 draw that piqued your interest? I know a lot of people are very interested in Dirk van Dijvenbode against Luke Humphries. That could be very interesting on the main stage in game 4, but Littler getting Wade, that's very, very good considering they've already played this year.
Yes, Wade managing to beat Luke Littler in the first round of a recent Players' Championship event. I do think that Ross Smith Dowell Gurney is a very interesting one.
66.
Wade's never won at Minehead, and we've been coming here for a decade and a little bit more now. And when he won the UK Open the last time, it wasn't here.
100.
Yeah, it was when it was Milton Keynes behind closed doors. Did, of course, win this in Bolton, James Wade.
109.
I wonder if somebody's upset the German giant, because when he's hitting scores like that, he looks angry. He looks ruffled.
He probably is frustrated at the start he's
57.
had to the year.
We say that he's been averaging 90 in some of the games that he's played, or maybe just a tiny bit more. If in doubt, Gabe, just
59.
stick 10 more on there. That might get the job done against Danny, but then again, it might not. Because he does have that sickening level in his game. Just a question of whether it comes out from Mr. Consistency.
180.
I think he enjoyed that one.
There's pressure on this for Clemens, and the 137 won't go. Danny Noppert is going to get an opportunity
89.
to go back into the lead. Will the lead flip-flop around as much as it could have done in the opening 5 legs? That leaves double top. And he's missed low again on it. And double 10 doesn't rescue him. Danny Noppert, tops is his favourite double, and he is missing it consistently low.
There aren't many more frustrating sights than missing your favourite double. He thought that was in for a second. How is double 4 again for a 3rd time? Gabe Clemens is finding a friend in the top right corner, but Danny Noppert is really struggling on tops.
Yeah, that'll have to change for Noppert, or he's going to have to change his MO. I don't think he's going to do that. 3 legs running now, he's at maximums.
When you've got a favourite double, you have an automatic spot in front of your eye
95.
as to where you want to put it for a certain shot. And if it's not working, you have to adjust. You can't just continue to have it in the same spot and think it's going to go. Oh, we all thought that was going to be another maximum to set up our first 9-dart attempt.
5 perfect darts to start the leg for Danny Noppert. And from this position, he should be able to set things up just as he wants, and if he can, he'll leave tops.
If this game is anything like our first game from this afternoon, it's going to be toing and froing all the way to leg 19. Because that's what we got from
96.
Connor Scott earlier. And he was playing in the very first game at 11 AM this morning when he was up against Wesley Plaisir.
100.
Pump of the fist from Gabriel Clemens. You don't usually get much from him, but pretty fired up is big Gabriel. And it means that Noppert isn't going to get to set this up exactly how he wants. He's only going to get 1 at the bull.
60.
So ironic that that one's too high.
86.
However, it's not the bullseye for Gabe.
Games from the 6th
It's a
leg.
4-2 lead.
Gabriel Clemens.
Does like playing on this stage at Minehead. He's had some great games here, but he's never been to the quarterfinals of the UK Open. In 2020 and 2021, he made the last 16. He's not done better than that, but this looks really good all of a sudden.
Tell you what, some game we've got here. Gabriel Clemens averaging a chunk over a ton right now. Noppert would be doing the same if he wasn't 2 out of 11 on the doubles.
Looking at those flights, you must be really disappointed
96.
that there's no German flag on there or any sort of German design, because at one point he had the best flights in the business, didn't he?
He did. It was sort of like the old Italian 90 German World Cup football kit.
123.
They were beautiful.
Well, in a year where Germany hosts the Euros, come on, Gabe, get your finger out.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's expecting the German teams to do very well in the Euros.
I was talking about
Think-
dart flights, but okay.
Well, yes, true. Dortmund, of course, for the European Championship. It'll be later on this year.
Home of the best pizza on tour, Dortmund.
123.
There's a little bit of on-tour insight for you.
Not been to Wigan. 129. It is on. It is still on. How about this, Gabriel Clemens? Oh,
105.
well, he's in a little zone at the minute. Gabriel Clemens playing some beautiful stuff.
Well, this is not going to go, meaning Clemens has got the halfway point in his sights. He was spending a lot of time practicing earlier tonight with Martin Schindler.
24.
World Cup team
Game
have
shot
two
in the
different
seventh
assignments
leg.
tonight on the
Gabriel
same
Clemens.
board.
Eighth leg, Danny to go
And this
first.
is going very well for the Germans so far. The man who is champion from 2 years ago is in real trouble.
Well, he's won 3 legs on the spin.
140.
Danny Noppert has had darts to win 2 of those legs. Been unable to take them. Clemens does have a couple of wins against Danny Noppert. Beat him in the World Cup in the quarter-final. That was 4 years ago now. He also beat him in a semi-final of a Players' Championship event to reach one of the many
60.
ranking finals that he has made, Gabriel Clemens. He has lost every single one of those finals.
That wall must be broken down at some point, because there is a real risk he could be a player that never gets a PDC title if he doesn't break that mental hurdle. Well, as far as results
140.
so far are concerned, nothing can match what's happening on board 3, because Ryan Searle is 8-2 down.
57. Danny require 160.
Wow, one of the form players, Ryan Searle, getting a hiding.
Take your Gian van Veen against Hempel, who's 5-0 up the Dutchman. That's nothing compared to that. Usher Searle, after 10 legs, that has got this entire region of England in shock.
136.
Right, is this where
Danny
Danny Noppert
requires
can stop
76.
the rot? To stop the German giant charging off into the distance. 8-8. 4-4. It's working for Clemens. It's not
68.
working for Noppy.
Gabriel requires 74.
Fair to say that no double has really cooperated fully in this match for Danny. Tops for Gabe, and look at that. He's talking to the board.
54. Danny require 8.
I hope the board understands German.
Game
Wow,
shot the
yeah.
eighth leg.
We're all taking a second look at that one, Danny, but 4-4 does find the mark and just about cling on. Maybe those grippy points have done him a favour there.
Yeah, that was a bit wibbly wobbly, wasn't it? That was 49% wire and 51% sisal.
Well, he has said, Danny Noppert, that when you look at him throw now and the way his darts go into the board, it is very different from when he first started playing the PDC. They
58.
go in much more uniform angle. They used to go in one would be pointing top left, one bottom right, one over to the side. And he said it's not really the equipment, it's how I was throwing them. I've had to get to a point where I'm releasing them in exactly the same way so that I can make better use of them in the board. I can use a marker like that first dart there, which he should use, but doesn't
60.
on this occasion. But you do wonder whether he's not quite going through his action perfectly if some of those darts are going in at odd angles.
180.
I admire the fact that he's stuck with this technique and this flight shape for so long, because a lesser player who was
134.
weaker in
Gabriel
mind
requires 69.
might have just gone for a different shape and tried to fix it that way. This situation
Game
is
shot
getting
the ninth
pretty
leg.
drastic,
Gabriel
because
Clemens.
that is now
Tenth
6-3
leg, Danny
Clemens.
to go first.
If we go to the break 7-3, the German is going to be really pleased. But this guy has got real spirit. He needed it when he won this 2 years ago against Michael Smith in the final.
And we've had 10 180s in this game already. 4 for Noppert, 6 for Gabriel Clemens. And Clemens has hit him 5 legs running. And at the minute, his average is higher than any average he's produced in a TV tournament, apart from one game in a group stage match,
55.
so first to 5 legs, remember, at the Grand Slam of Darts. This is right up there with some of the best stuff we've seen from Gabriel Clemens in a major tournament.
134.
He's been the German #1 now for quite some time. Shouldering the pressure of being the best player from one of the biggest darting nations in the world. But I think he wants to be better than he is. In order to do that, he's got to do things he's never done.
132.
I think a win this week for him would be making the last 8, getting to the final day. What are you up to, Danny? That's just missed. That was a great attempt.
I'm surprised it managed to finish there. You thought if you threw it in that area that it would have just followed into the bullseye. He's not going to be punished with a massive check out from Clemens. So Noppert
85.
to get in at the break with a 2-leg deficit. This time he finds double top. He does not miss low. He is still in this game. The 2022 champion, Danny Noppert, is clinging on in this one. But it's Clemens, the German #1, who leads by 6 legs to 4. Opening game of the night here on stage 2. Gabriel Clemens first back on stage. He has taken a 6-4 lead from the first session. We will play to a conclusion. First to 10 legs goes into the 5th round. And Danny Noppert, the champion from 2 years ago, has got work to do because Clemens is averaging around about 104 right now. He has hit 6 180s in 10 legs of darts, and if he carries on in that fashion, even the obstinate Danny Noppert is going to struggle to stop him. But the main difference between them has been the finishing, because Noppert has been in this game. They've both had 15 darts at double. Clemens has hit 6, Noppert has only hit 4, and his usual reliable double top has not been there for him that often so far in this game. If it returns, he's got a chance of turning this round. We have got games going on simultaneously across 8 boards right now, and rapid Ricky Evans might be the first man through to round 5 because he's 9-4 up on the World Championship semi-finalist Scott Williams. Ryan Searle is staging a fight back against Graham Usher. It is now 8-6 to Usher when it was 8-2. But we'll keep you abreast of all of those scores as they continue. You can follow them on Dart Connect as well, tv.dartconnect.com. But Clemens so close to a 7th 180, and that one just dangling in the board in the air.
109.
Needs a few more of those, that's for sure. Just to worry the position of Clemens. And here's the thing, Dan, when we went to the 10-leg break,
57.
I'm thinking Danny Noppert's happy with 6-4 down. It could have been much worse.
It could have been, but there were back-to-back legs in the middle of that session where Noppert missed darts to win them both. It could have been the other way around, but he would have had to have taken pretty much every chance that came his way.
Well, the Ryan Searle game with Graham Usher, you're going to get an update on that every minute because it's that quick.
59.
It's now 8-7.
What is Graham Usher feeling right now as Ryan Searle, one of the form players at the start of this year, has just won 5 legs on the spin to be breathing down his neck?
Whatever the score is next, I'm just going to say it. I'm not even going to reference it. But this is a really good start for Danny Noppert in leg 11. Ricky Evans is through 10-4 against Scott Williams.
79.
Scott Williams, who averaged 98 in that game, by the way. Ricky Evans, he's playing some good stuff. He played some good stuff there, but he's playing some good stuff in general. Double 12 for Danny Noppert to break the Clemens throw. To double 6. Oh,
69.
doubles, Danny.
Again, he misses a double towards the top of the board, low. He's only had 1 good shot at a double at the top of the board.
145. Danny required 12.
Oh, that's put the cat amongst the pigeons. He's worried the wire. And now it's double 3. And
9.
Danny Noppert has thrown this leg away, and he might be throwing this match away.
Pass Danny the bucket. If this goes in,
Game
he will
from the
feel
11th leg.
so sick about
Gabriel
that.
Clemens.
That is a leg that Gabe had no right to win, but you've got to be opportunistic, and look at Danny there. He's someone who never gives his emotions away unless he just physically can't hide them anymore. And right there, he was just green around the gills. 8-8.
Ryan Searle has dragged himself back level with Graham Usher.
79.
But Danny Noppert is getting to the point where he's going to have to stage a similarly unlikely comeback. Danny Noppert, I always think of him as a real
59.
fighter. He will not give up. He will keep on working and making it so hard to beat him. His head has not dropped in this. He's carried on scoring. Clemens is averaging better than he's ever averaged in a game of this length. And yet Danny Noppert has been right in it. He's had chances. He just hasn't been able to take them. 20% on the doubles for Danny Noppert.
81.
More often than not, he's at least double that. Opportunities have been there, but Gabe has just been slightly more efficient. And I know it's
96.
a bit of a joke that we talk about German people being efficient, but he has played the more efficient stuff. 9-8 Searle.
60.
Right, it's gone from Graham Usher will be sick to lose from 8-2 up to now Ryan Searle will be sick to lose from 9-8 up. There may be another twist in that game. There may be twists in this one. Because Noppert keeps on coming here. 97 average with 16 missed darts double.
100.
It's a good fixture, this, isn't it, for modern day darts? Two lads who just like to get on with it. Not a great deal of gesticulation or celebration, it's just pure darts. How does he get past that?
105.
That is a stunning dart from Noppert. My word! How did he get past that?
Good question.
100.
Clemens keeps himself
Daniel
interested in this
required
leg, and of
6.
course he's interested because Noppert is missing doubles. Double 9. This time, Danny Noppert does find the double.
13th leg, Gabriel to throw first.
Just going to say it. Another double in the top half of the board that he's missed low.
100.
Just really good that he had 3 clean darts at double there and had the guide on double 9, which was very kind indeed. If he can just chip away and keep Clemens away from 9, that'll be a good job. At this point, I know you don't want to look past the leg you're in, but if you are going to set yourself a target,
140.
8-8 is very achievable.
Ryan Searle 9, Graham Usher 9.
The streak has been broken.
Peter Wright 8-3 up on Joshua Richardson. Florian Empel and
100.
Jan Van Veen. It's 6-4 Van Veen. It's not a great game. They're both averaging in the mid-80s.
No, Van Veen was 5-0 up.
He was, and not playing particularly well. Raymond van Barneveld is fighting back against Luke Woodhouse. But the Shed is 7-6 up in that one. Remember, it's an open draw at the end of every round, so we don't know who plays whom until the draw is made at the end of the round, at the end of tonight.
30.
I think that's the best thing about this tournament. We
It is
don't
good.
know who you're going to play next because it's an open
59.
draw, and I think it's a really good ally for the players. They don't know who they're going to play next, and that makes them focus even more on who they are playing. With the exception of this afternoon, of course, where
96.
people
Gabriel
did
require
know.
148.
Only 2 points separate him in this leg. Another one there leaves tops. And Clemens has been decent on the doubles.
128. Daniel require 150.
I mean, it was for tops. Your guess is as good as mine where it landed.
Well, we know where he's going now.
75.
Nice cover the shot there from
Gabriel
Danny.
require 20.
It should be a moot point. Oh. Well, well, what did I say earlier about double 10? Stay away from the 15s.
Daniel requires 75.
The double and the single are awful in that situation, and Noppert has found a chance.
Double 6. And double 6 is found, and Danny Noppert is starting to reel the big German in. It's a breaker throw. He has the darts looking to level the match here. Clemens is not the same player in this second session of the match as he was in the first. Noppert is pretty similar. He's scoring well and missing doubles, but he's starting to hit a couple more. It's not taking him 5 darts to hit a double. It's taking him 2 or 3 now.
Graham Usher has beaten Ryan Searle 10-9. What a sickening game that must have been for both players. My word.
100.
Just have a look on the Dart Connect system. Ryan Searle left on tops in the last leg decider as well. And just going into further detail on that, Ryan Searle had 85 left after 12 darts. He's left on 40. Look, he may have got a dart at the ball and it landed in the 10, or he might have had 2 match darts at double top and missed them both, having fought back from 8-2 down. It looks like Searle had at least 1 match dart, and Graham Usher has knocked him out of the tournament. So Graham Usher and Ricky Evans
140.
through to round 5.
Yeah, 2 top 32 players out in the first 2 completed games. We could be in for a night of carnage.
161.
And this game is going that way because 6 darts from 161 will give us a level game.
Well, we are going to lose either the German number 1 or the Dutch number 2 here in this round 4 encounter. Danny Noppert once again leaves himself on double 12. Now, it has not been good for him in this game.
And he's been missing it low, so make a change, Danny. Just give yourself a sighter just outside. It's happened again. The double 6 is starting to pay off. However, you don't have to rely on double 6, do you? If I am being a little bit more positive, that miss at double 12 was a little bit closer.
Well, he's certainly a lot closer to Gabriel Clemens now. Level pegging. Clemens still has the darts, but he has lost 3 legs on the spin, Gabriel Clemens, something that has not happened in this game up until this point.
Now we're starting to see classic Danny Noppert here. Just eating away at your ankles. You just can't get rid of him. I've only played Danny once, and honestly, it was a hurtful experience. It's like trying to shake off a tiger that's gnawing at your feet.
But everybody points to Danny Noppert winning the UK Open a couple of years ago. Yeah, well, it was a very good game in the final. No, it wasn't a brilliant game, but he won it, and look how he played in the lead up to it. His averages, 97, 97, 99, 96. And then he sort of struggled past Willie O'Connor in the semis, and it was a similar struggle against Michael Smith. But Danny Noppert is much more likely to average 97, 98 than he is 80 odd.
Absolutely.
That's why he's world number 7.
They don't hand out top 10 rankings in the world to everyone. You have to work really hard to get there. And he's been there for a while.
He has, and
58.
yes, he's been sat on the prize money for this for the last 2 years. He's never done very well in the UK Open any other time. He's only won 2 other games. This is his 7th appearance at the UK Open. He's beaten Glenn Durrant, he's beaten Jim Williams,
100.
and he's won the title beating everybody. Every other time he's lost.
Yeah, Clemens is also playing in his 7th UK Open.
He's got a better win percentage in this tournament than Danny Noppert, who's won the whole thing.
80.
Maximum from Gabriel Clemens, his first since the break.
If classic Danny Noppert turns up, this goes. To hit the front. Shanghai 18s. Something's starting to click. And he liked that very much.
He has been getting better and better and better slowly, and admittedly he was poor on the doubles for the first session of the match, but he is now starting to hit them and hit them first time. That is the biggest finish of the game. It has come from Danny Noppert after Clemens left a maximum to leave 3 darts at a double, which he did not get. And it is now Noppy's game to lose. Having been 6-3 down, 6-3 and 7-4 down.
180.
I can't help but admire this. A lesser player would have thrown in the towel. The way that Clemens was operating in that first session, it was as if it was inevitable that he was going to win the game. However, everything's changed.
And this is what I mean about Danny Noppert being a fighter and a grafter. He doesn't let his head drop, he keeps coming. Yes, you could see he was frustrated with all his missed doubles. Yes, he knew his opponent was playing brilliant.
41.
But he kept on coming at him in the hope that things might turn around, and they have, because Clemens' level has dropped and Noppert has started hitting doubles, and he's scored pretty well throughout the game.
Personally, I think that these guys are very fortunate to get board 2 tonight. Some of the players on the outside boards, we've already talked about Gary Anderson being last game on an outside board. Peter Wright's been on board 8 and he's won 10-3 against Joshua Richardson. When was the last time Peter Wright was on an outside board?
Right, is Noppert going to pull out a big finish here? Oh, double 10 for another one. Back-to-back ton-plus checkouts, and all the woes on the outer ring for Danny Noppert in this game have been banished.
I think you might have to call this peaking at the right time.
100.
I remember watching a lot of athletics during the 80s, Dan, and there was an 800-meter runner called Peter Elliott. He would, on purpose, run at the back of the pack in the first 400, and he was the best finisher in the last 50 of anybody in world athletics at that time, and he would just saunter past people, and that's exactly what Danny Noppert's doing now.
Well, he certainly wasn't finding himself 7-4 down on purpose. He wasn't missing those doubles deliberately, but he was missing them, and he was missing loads of them. And now he's on a little streak here. Back-to-back checkouts of 108 and 140, and he might be closing in on a brilliant come-from-behind win.
100.
It's almost as if Clemens is punching smoke now. He just can't lay a glove on Noppert. Another Dutchman who is currently playing against an Englishman. Barneveld against Woodhouse is going the distance. 9-9 on board 6.
Keen Barry 4-0 up on Kim Highbreaks. That must feel like getting slapped in the face. 104 average. Now 87 to wrap up the game. Danny Noppert. 20 and bull. Is it going to be another combo finish? No, because he's missed the big number.
Greedy, greedy, greedy. Just lost the line. And now he has to wait to see if Clemens can keep this alive. Is the next twist in black and yellow? Hello. This game might be going the distance as well if Clemens has got anything to do with it, but he does need to break Noppert to take us that far.
Well, incredibly, Gabriel Clemens won the first leg of this second session of the match after Noppert had missed a whole load of darts at double. That is the first leg he's won since that 11th leg. And in between, there's only been one leg where he's been allowed darts at double.
135.
Because Danny Noppert has been all over him like a cheap suit in this second session of the game. And yet, it could still turn.
100.
We could have another Searle Usher situation on our hands here.
Plenty of carnage tonight. Woodhouse has beaten Barneveld 10-9. Well done to Woody, who is in the hat for the end of the night to find out who he plays on Saturday afternoon.
$96.
It's definitely in the hands of Noppert here. Wants to leave 170 or better from this position. Has to go to the 19s now. 132 if you please, that's wonderful.
We had a look at this 1-3-2 in the final leg of the opening session. And he wasn't far away from getting a dart at double 16. And now Danny Noppert, he should play on the 20s here. The sensible play is the 20s.
You could even use the 19s a little bit here. I don't like this play at all. He's got temptation, and he's not going to fall for it. It's a very good setup, but most players there, in my opinion, should be looking for the straight ton of the 92 to leave the double that you want. However, he's still got it for the match.
133.
Well, there's pressure from Gabriel Clemens, but Noppert has not been missing doubles for the last few legs. And he doesn't miss at the end. It is 3 consecutive checkouts where he hits the double. First time of asking for Danny Noppert as he completes the comeback. He wins it 10-8, having been 7-4 down. A remarkable resurgence from the 2022 champion, and he is still fighting to defend the 100 grand he won a couple of years ago. Brilliant comeback from Noppert. He's in the hat for round 5, and we'll be back in a few moments' time with a former world champion Michael Smith and a former Masters champion Joe Cullen.